Hello and welcome to another edition of Should You Play, where we find out whether or not you should play Smite. Smite is a MOBA, much like your League of Legends or your Dota 2, except Smite does something a little different. Rather than it being a top-down view, you actually play your selected god from the third-person view. Sounds a little strange, I know, but the game was designed this way, and actually adds a new perspective to the MOBA scene. As previously stated, Smite's champions are actually gods taken from the different mythos from history. So far, these include Greek, Roman, Hindu, Norse, Egyptian, Chinese, and Mayan. As far as the gods themselves, they're inspired by their respective mythos, but not literal representations of them. Though, to be fair, Hi-Res Studios has done a pretty damn good job staying authentic to the source material. There is a god viewing mode available in-game, which provides a model viewer, the god's stats, your personal history in PvP matches with that god, a recommended items list, as well as the lore behind the god. This bit can actually be kind of a time sink, especially if you're into reading the lore. In the same vein, under the guide section, you can customize your own recommended list for your god, as well as what abilities you want to level at certain levels, should you choose the auto-level feature, but we'll talk about that more later. The basics of the game are incredibly simple. Much like any other MOBA, you select your gods in the lobby screen, then fight for victory. You do this by fighting through minion waves, towers, phoenix towers, and lastly, a minotaur. Firstly, the towers. They're your simple fare. They shoot minions if there are minions to shoot, otherwise they shoot you. They will also target you should you be attacking an enemy god within range of the tower. The range of the tower is actually placed on the ground for you, so you can avoid it should you actually need to. The second tower is called a phoenix. This tower is a phoenix. Yeah, I know, big surprise. It acts exactly like the regular tower, except when it is destroyed, that particular lane will spawn super minions, which have more health and do more damage. The phoenix tower will eventually respawn, so you need to take advantage of the time given to you. The last line of defense is called a minotaur. The minotaur acts just like a tower, including target priority, except it can move around, and does lots of damage, and has lots of health. Once the minotaur is defeated, you've won the game. There is also an alert system you use by pressing the V key. From here, you can tell your team that gods are missing from your lane, or to tell an allied god to attack or retreat. This is done through an audio cue, rather than a visual one. This system is extremely useful for coordinating your team quickly.
Retreat middle lane.
Like any typical MOBA, there are your 6 roles available. These are your supports, tanks, carries, mages, bruisers, and assassins. Unlike other MOBAs, the majority of gods have 2 roles in Smite. Some are great when they work with other gods, but can still hold their own, such as Aphrodite, who is a mage and support. Then you have your gods that are capable of dealing sustainable damage at a continuous rate, while also being extremely effective in a 1v1 scenario, such as Fenrir, who is a bruiser and assassin. By doing this, Hi-Res has made it so certain gods are not stuck to a specific role, making them playable in many different scenarios and situations. There are several different game modes available for play, from your classic 5v5 all the way to your all-random all-mid. There is also a tutorial mode as well as bot practice. First up, let's take a gander at the bot modes available. The first mode available is called Joust. This game mode is a one-on-one match against a bot. Depending on whether or not you bring friends along, it can support up to 3v3. You have access to all gods in this mode, even if you have not purchased them yet. This mode is designed to test a new god you may be eyeballing in a hassle-free non-player environment. The map is simple. It's just a single lane down the middle, defended by a tower, a phoenix, and a minotaur. There is also a jungle on each side of the lane, should you also wish to practice that. The next mode available is called Arena. This is a 3v3 match in a small little arena. The only towers in this mode defend the spawning area for the gods and minions. Otherwise, your objective is to protect your minions and bring them to the enemy portal. The team that loses all their points first is defeated. Lastly is a jungle practice mode, which is exactly as it sounds. There are small areas designated for certain creatures found in the jungle that you practice defeating. Jungle practice mode. That covers the versus AI section. On to the game modes available in PvP. Both the Arena and Joust modes are available in PvP, along with 3 other modes. The first mode is called Conquest. This is your standard MOBA map. There are 3 lanes, one to your left, right, and middle. Each lane has 2 towers and a phoenix. A jungle surrounds the middle lane, which connects all 3 lanes together. There are a total of 10 gods on the field, 5 on each team. Like any other mode, the last line of defense is a Minotaur. Once the Minotaur is defeated, you've won the game. The next game mode is called Dominion. This is your typical capture and control game type. There are 3 capture points available, which you take by defeating the Sand Guardian. Once defeated, a new allied guardian will spawn and protect your point. Hold 2 or more to deplete the enemy tickets. Once a team's tickets reach 0, the game is over. This mode once again features 5v5. The last game mode is called Assault. It's just like your Joust mode, a single lane, except with no jungle. It's 5v5 like most other game modes, however there's a slight twist. It's all random, all mid. This means at the start of the game, your god is chosen for you, and there is a single lane in which to do battle. Since it's all random, you never know what god you're going to get, which can create some fairly ridiculous god combinations. Now that we've got that covered, let's revisit the whole auto-level, auto-buy system I previously mentioned. Before a game begins, there's an option to toggle 2 features on or off. These features are auto-level and auto-buy. They are as they sound. Auto-leveling simply means that each time you level, the game automatically chooses a skill to level up for you. In this particular case, you can actually set what abilities you want to upgrade as you level, as you don't have to deal with the upgrade screen while you're playing. The auto-level system is extremely useful, especially in PvP, since most of the time you're going to be busy dealing with other players trying to murder you. The auto-buy feature works in the same fashion. You can set which items you want the game to auto-buy for you before the game. You are even capable of choosing which order you want the game to purchase these items. Both of these systems combined allow for a seamless playstyle, where the only thing you really need to worry about is how well you're playing, and not what build you're going. Smite is free to play. You download it and you just start playing. There is of course a store where you purchase currency called gems, which you can use to buy gods and god skins. It should be pointed out that all the gods in the game can be purchased using favor, which you acquire simply from playing the game. There are many skins you can purchase using favor as well, though any skin that drastically changes the way the model looks, usually through new armor pieces or entirely new themes, can only be bought using gems. Recently, voice packs have been added to the game, which changed the voice of the alert system to whichever character you happen to have purchased the voice pack for. Each pack costs 200 gems, which is around $4.
Yes. I'll defend right lane.
Something to note, which is also an extremely important feature, is the ability to stream your Smite play through Twitch. If you have a Twitch account, you can stream your Smite play for several possible awards, like things such as favor, which you use to purchase gods or skins. There's also a skin available called Twitchamere, which you can get for streaming 5,000 minutes of Smite. While the rewards aren't exactly overwhelming, they are varied and do offer an incentive to stream your game, which you may or may not be interested in. And that is Smite, more or less. So hopefully this has provided you with enough information to decide whether or not you should play Smite.